And welcome back here to Ashington Cricket Club, Tynedale, 34 for 4 in reply to 228 to win. At the crease, Ollie Fletcher and Callan McCabe. The men out so far, Tom Cant, Sam Mannion, Jamie Crichton and Dan Parker. And it's James Harmison about to go into bowl to Fletcher, who lets this one outside his off stump, and it goes through the Grant, the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. So Fletcher and McCabe here, seeing a Tynedale innings collapse around their knees at the moment, but they've stopped the flow at the minute. They've played solidly, and Fletcher has just moments ago, before we came on the air, hit a nice pull shot for 4. Harmison to Fletcher again, who goes forward and drives, and this one's racing out towards the boundary, but it'll not get there. It's fielded now across to our left in front of the practice nets, and the ball goes into the wicketkeeper, and there's two added to the total there. So 36 now for 4 Tynedale. Fletcher back on the strike. Fletcher and McCabe 11 and 10 not out respectively. And here's James Harmison, it is. Passed umpire Tomlinson to bowl to Fletcher, and that's well pitched, just outside the off stump, and it got up a bit, but Fletcher leaves his bat up in the air and lets it through to Grant, the wicketkeeper, and again there's no run. And the ball comes round the offside field this time. So we've had Ben Harmison bowling, opening the bowling along with Matthew Collins, and now it's James Harmison and Sharkey who are bowling for Ashington. And there's the next one to Fletcher, and he's forward this time, defending slightly fuller that time, and the ball just runs off the face of the bat, is fielded in the gully there. It's picked up off the ground, and there's no run at the end of the 14th over, that one. So 14 overs gone now. Tynedale 36 for 4. And who's going to come on next? It'll be Sharkey to continue from the top end. The terrace houses running along the back of him. He'll be running away from those up to bowl to Callan McCabe, the right-hander. He'll be coming over the wicket with 2 slips in place. So here he is, bowls. There's a square drive from McCabe, and it's racing away for 4, that one, I think. Will the fielder get there? He just gets there, a yard from the boundary rope, across to our right, and throws into Grant, the wicketkeeper. And there's 2 runs there to McCabe, and he's gone to 12, and the score goes to 38 for 4 wickets, Tynedale. And they need 190 to win now. And it's McCabe from Sharkey now. Drives straight this time, but it goes just to the leg side of the stumps at the bowler's end, and Ben Harmison it is, with his shirt untucked over there in his short sleeves, picks that one up off the ground. And the bar's filling up here, people are sitting outside on the terrace. Plenty bottles of beer and pints of beer going about, as Sharky's in again now to McCabe, who's back in his crease that time, and defends the ball, and it goes on a couple of bounces back down the pitch away from us, and it's picked up by Sharkey, who sets off immediately towards the end of his run again. So 2 slips, a point, and a cover, a mid on, a mid off, a mid wicket, a square leg and a long leg. Sharkey to McCabe, and that one's pitched well again, and it got up and off stump then. McCabe's forward and defends it out, and the ball rolls out there into the covers, where it's picked up about 10 yards from the batsman across to our right hand side. So the score remains the same, 38 for 4, and Sharkey's just got the ball now, and he's going to bowl again to Callan McCabe, who's in now. He's in and bowls, and that one's turned off his pads up towards the fine leg boundary in front of the clubhouse here, and it's thrown in now. And McCabe, he got a single there, but it was a leg by, signalled by the umpire Wellborn, and his score goes to 39. No, there was a bit of bat in it there, so McCabe goes to 13 with that shot. Here's Sharky again, against Fletcher this time, who watches this one outside the off stump. Nicely done from the young man, young Fletcher out there. It could be his time. They say there's a time for everything. There's a time for courage, and there's a time for guts, and there's a time for scoring, especially in cricket. And this could be the time for Fletcher and McCabe indeed. But the junior partner in the partnership so far, Fletcher, he's just having a chat with McCabe out there, and they give a little hand punch. So at the end of that over, that was the end of Sharky's over. 39 for 4 Tynedale, 189 they need to win from a maximum of 50, and this is the 16th over coming up. James Thompson it is to go in to bowl to McCabe. McCabe's forward, but not very far, and just defends it, and the ball slips off the face of the bat there, and it runs out square to point, where it's picked up off the ground and there's no run. There's another young lad runs around in front of the scoreboard there. He's lost interest in the cricket. He's playing football at the minute. As Harmison against McCabe. Back, leans into it and cuts, and they're going to get a single here, are they? Oh, and there's a shot there at one stump, and that couldn't have missed by much. And they get away with it. It's backed up by Ben Harmison there. And they get a single. McCabe goes to 14. The score goes to 40. So it's 188 now to win. 188 for Tynedale to win, and it's going to be Harmison to bowl again. Here he comes now. Up he goes and bowls, and outside the off stump this time, and it's let go through by Fletcher, and it goes through to wicketkeeper Grant, and there's no run. It still remains 40 for 4 Tynedale. Fletcher on strike, not out 11. McCabe the non-striker, not out 14. And we've lost the sun just for a moment here at Langwell Crescent. In goes Harmison again now to Fletcher, who goes forward, but watches this one carefully outside his off stump. And all concentration out there at the moment for Fletcher. Again up in the first team. And this will be his 4th innings playing for the first team. He's been a shuttler this year between seconds, firsts, under 18s, under 15s, school cricket at the Newcastle School for Boys. And there's Fletcher playing backward of square this time, but it goes straight to the fielder there at backward point along the ground, and it's safe enough, and it remains 40 for 4 Tynedale in the 16th over. Yes, this is his 4th innings. 1 not out and 21 not out. He's 3 innings so far for the first team. The 21 not out against Concert, an important innings, and that one kept low from Harmison, and Fletcher watched it past his outside his off stump again, and that's the end of James Harmison's over. So Tynedale needing 228 to win, or 40 for 4 after 16. Fletcher 11, McCabe 14, and the men out were Tom Cant for 4, Sam Mannion for 0, Jamie Crichton for 2, and Dan Parker for 1. Dan Parker indeed was out. He's the wicket that fell when we weren't on the air, as we had our little 20-minute break. But here's Sharky again now, taking up the attack, and he bowls to McCabe. Outside the off stump and short, and McCabe cuts, but it's along the ground and fielded at backward point again, and there's no run. McCabe the right-hander with his shirt tucked in, socks, trousers tucked in his socks with his pads strapped round there, and changing the field. Square leg is dropped back about 6 or 7 yards from the boundary across to our left, but here's McCabe from Sharky again, and that's hit his pad, and it's gone over. Slipped there, and it's racing up towards the 3rd man boundary. It's fielded now, and McCabe goes through, and what will Mr. Welburn give here? There must have been some bad in it, so an inside edge under the pad, and the score now goes to 41 for 4 Tynedale. McCabe moves to 15, and Sharky has the ball again down at the top end there. Now he runs in, bowling to Ollie Fletcher. Fletcher goes back in his crease and hits this one to leg, but it's straight there, nicely fielded in its short extra cover, and that's O'Brien there. A nice innings in the 60s today from him for Ashington. A quiet innings it was. He just methodically went about his business and ran up the runs for the home team here. But here's Sharkey again to Fletcher. Fletcher goes forward and plays square out onto the offside this time, where it's fielded at orthodox point this time, and it's picked up and thrown in, and there's no run. Still 41 for 4. 187 for Tynedale to win. Fletcher on strike. On the leg side we have a fine leg, a square leg, a close mid-wicket and a mid-on, I beg your pardon. But Sharkey again to Fletcher, who's forward again, playing at a ball well pitched outside the off stump, and it runs out there to point again. It doesn't get that far. The fielder has to run in for Ashington this time. A little bit of work there. So it's still 41 for 4. Fletcher is 11 not out. And we've got a candidate walking about outside the pavilion here, the clubhouse, who has got to be, must be nominated for today's most nattiest dresser. Here's Sharkey again now, bowls to Fletcher, full toss, and it's whipped away the leg but into the ground, and it's nice stop there from O'Brien, diving to his right at close mid-wicket, and there's no run, and that's the end of the over. Tynedale 41 for 4, Fletcher 11, 15 to McCabe, and 187 still to win. Yes, he's knocking about somewhere. He's just disappeared out of sight, but and I've just dropped a load of stuff on the floor, but he's wearing the most an elegant blue shirt with gold flamingos on it, and there must be 155 of them printed on, gold flamingos printed onto that shirt, and he's got the tightest pair of navy trousers on with his shirt tucked in, and what looks like a set of old-fashioned winkle pickers, but I'm sure they're not. But here's Harmison, who goes in. James Harmison bowling to McCabe again, and that's full on leg stump, and it's turned away to Harmison. Ben Harmison there at mid-wicket, all along the ground though, so it was safe enough. And the shoes are gold in colour with a nice little a tassel on the front of each shoe, and they're pointed at the toe. That's what makes us think they're like winkle pickers, but as I say, I'm sure they're not. Harmison again now to McCabe. Drives a full ball this time from his off stump, or just outside, up to mid-off, all along the ground again though, and there's no run. It's still 41 for 4 in the 18th over now of Tynedale's innings here. And we've got McCabe again. 187 to win for the visitors. James Harmison again against McCabe, and that's shorter, and it bounced, and McCabe is equal to the task. Defends that down just above, about halfway between his knee and his waistline there of his trousers, and it goes into the offside, and there's no run. So it's still 41 for 4. James Harmison, 2 wickets by the way to Ben Harmison and 2 to Collins. They're the wicket takers so far. Now James Harmison sets off again. A nice trundle up to the wicket and bowls. Slower ball this time, and the ball rolls back. Ooh, that was close to the stumps there. And McCabe took his eye off it there. It was a slower ball, and it bounced, and it struck McCabe somewhere up in the stomach, but it must have ricocheted back down under the bat and spun back, and it was maybe just inches away from that off stump there. And McCabe was left helpless, so it's a good job it didn't hit the stumps. Or he would have been kicking himself. But here is Harmison again. He goes in. He bowls short outside the off stump. McCabe rocks back and chops it into the ground, but it goes straight, a couple of bounces square of the wicket there, 2 point. And I think the fielder there for Ashington at point, you'd think he'd just seen a wasp, trying to chase a wasp away there. And I think they like the look of that ball flying towards him there. But here's James Harmison again, and he goes to bowl to McCabe, who's forward, and that one bounced up from a good length. and McCabe presented the full face of the bat there, defends it down into the floor. It's fielded by O'Brien in the covers, off the floor, and there's no run, and that's the end of the 18th over here at Ashington this evening. And if you've just joined us I'm just going to do an update for any listeners who have just joined us at 6 o'clock. Tynedale chasing 228 to win, or 41 for 4. The men out are Tom Cant, Sam Mannion, Jamie Crichton and Dan Parker. At the crease is Ollie Fletcher, 11, and Colin McCabe, 15. And the wickets have gone to 2 for Collins and 2 for Ben Harmison. But it's Sharkey to take up the attack now, and he comes to bowl to Fletcher, who leans back and just turns this one up towards us here in the clubhouse. The ball runs up and it's fielded now at fine leg and thrown in. And there's a single there to Fletcher. He goes to 12. The score moves to 42. And that's 186 now to win for the visitors, Tynedale. And here's Sharkey again, about to get the ball. And here he's back with his gold flamingo shirt on. He only needs a fedora and a pink carnation in his pocket and he'll just make a picture. And that one is bowled by Sharkey, and it's turned up towards fine leg here by McCabe for a single. It's picked up and thrown in. 43 for 4 now. Tynedale. McCabe goes to 16, so it's 185. 185 now to win for Tynedale. This is the 19th over. Fletcher's forward in defence. Square the ball rolls, and it's out there to point, and it's picked up off the floor and given to Bob Rutherford, who hasn't had his chance to bowl yet. He's in at extra cover at the moment. Point very deep, one slip in place, a square leg, a mid wicket, mid off, mid on, a fine leg and a deep gully. Fletcher drives, he's out, caught in the covers. He drove in the air. Fletcher's gone for 12. It was a full ball, drove it straight to Bob Rutherford there, caught it about knee height, and Fletcher's gone. And oh, what a shame. He's just getting himself set in this innings. And him and McCabe had played, they had rescued Tynedale from losing any more wickets when they were 12 for 4, and they've taken the score along to 43, but it's now 43 for 5 in the 19th. And I was just saying, Rutherford hadn't had a chance to bowl yet, but he's had his chance to catch one and he's taken it. So it's the first wicket there for Sharkey. And Tynedale, Fletcher gone for 11, and it's Ewan Stevenson coming out to bat now. And Bob Rutherford there, he got a chance to catch one and he's taken it. And Fletcher has to go, I'm afraid. And it's 43 for 5 in the 19th. So it's still Tynedale's still 185 shy here. The left-handed Stevenson is at the crease now. Plenty tattoos on shore from the fellas out on the terrace here in front of us. The young lads, they've given up playing their football now. They were given wrong before for running about behind the bowler's arm. Now they've got themselves sat down there, and it's Sharkey to bowl again. And Stevenson, Sharkey's coming over the wicket to the left-hander with 2 slips. Stevenson goes forward and defends this one. Back down the pitch, slightly to the leg side, and it's picked up by Sharkey, who does his own fielding there. So Stevenson at the crease. He hasn't batted for 7 weeks. No, pardon me, 7 weeks. I'm looking at the wrong name there. He hasn't bowled for batted for 4 weeks. 28 was his last innings against Shotley Bridge. So here's Stevenson. 2 slips in a gully now, and that one's short of a length, and it bounces, and Stevenson plays it down from on the crease into the offside, and there's no run. And it's the end of the overs. 43 for 5 Tynedale, still 185 to win, and 19 overs gone. It's McCabe 16 they're out, and Stevenson yet to score. So we'll be back right after this word from one of our sponsors.
Hello, and welcome to the Cricket West Ham programme on Spreaker Online Radio. Brought to you by Experts in Business, our #1 in business consultancy. For all your business needs, visit www.expertsinbusiness.co.uk or find them on social media.
Harmison takes up the attack, and it's McCabe who defends this one down into the offside, and there's no run. 43 for 5 still Tynedale, and the ball just comes round the offside field there, and it'll be Harmison to bowl again. He's got his jumper off now, his shirt hanging out, and he runs past umpire Tomlinson short outside the off stump, and McCabe cuts this one into the ground, and there's 3 bounces before it reaches point there, but it's fielded safely enough and thrown in. No run, and the ball again comes round the offside field. McCabe 16 not out. Harmison about to go into bowl. Up he goes and bowls full, and it's driven this time, and it goes on the bounce, and Harmison manages to stick a left hand out about shoulder height to cut that one off, and the ball rolls to it just goes loose, but it's quickly picked up again, and there's no run. So here's Harmison again, James Harmison this is. Tynedale 43 for 5, and he goes to bowl full and driven again from McCabe, just opened the face that time and tried to steer it past the left hand of extra cover there, close in, but didn't time it particularly well, and the ball is just picked up and there's no run. Back the ball goes to Harmison the bowler. Seems to be getting a longer run up as he goes on here. Harmison against McCabe. Slow ball, full, and McCabe picks it and comes forward and defends it out along the ground up to mid-off here in front of us. We're behind mid-off at the moment, right down on the deep mid-off boundary in the clubhouse, just looking out towards the scoreboard, and McCabe batting, the slips all facing us at the minute. Still plenty of spectators to the left of the sight screen up at the top end. The young lads have run off now as Harmison runs in and bowls to McCabe, who looks as if shaped to pull that one, and went back in his crease and just defended it down into the floor, and there's no run. And that's the end of Harmison's over. He gets his jumper and cap off umpire Tomlinson, and it was a maiden over, and Tynedale 43 for 5, McCabe 16, and Ewan Stevenson yet to score. And McCabe looks as if he's got something wrong with his bat. He's just signalled to the changing rooms, the dressing rooms across to the right, for something pointing to the blade of his bat there, and he's at the non-striker's end. So we have a change of bowling, and no, we haven't. Bob Rutherford was near the umpire there, thought he was going to take over, but it's Sharkey to continue, and he's about to come in now and bowl to the left-handed Stevenson with 2 slips and a gully. Here he comes past umpire Wilburn, bowls full, and Stevenson drives for 1. There's a shot at the stumps, and the bails come off, but McCabe is back safely enough up to this our end here, the striker's end, and that gets Stevenson off the mark, and the score goes to 44 for 5. So Tynedale require another 184 to win now, with 29.5 overs left in this match. Here we go again now. It's McCabe facing up this time with just 1 slip now. McCabe lets this one outside the off stump through to the wicket keeper, and there's no run. Grant throws it to Harmison there, who gives it to his brother James, and he'll pop a little catch up in a moment to Sharkey, who's walking his way back. There we go. He's nearly up there now. He's about to turn again, and what a glorious evening it's turned out to be here at Ashington tonight. Bowls, weather-wise that is, and Stevenson just defends that one into the offside square. The sun beating down now. The cloud we do have high in the sky. Shirt sleeves all round, even amongst the evening dwellers here. They're coming out for a night out, I think. As in comes Sharky again, ball short outside the off stump. That's cut away between cover point and deep gully. It's running up towards the boundary, and 4 runs there, and all too rare for this afternoon for Tynedale. A good shot there by McCabe. He's gone to 20. The score goes to 48 for 5 in the 21st. And 180 to win now for Tynedale. 180 to win. Sharky again bowling to McCabe. 1 slip. Full and playing a miss outside the off stump that time. Grant standing up close to the stumps there, takes it cleanly and throws the ball round to Harmison again. Ben Harmison, who rather dive bombs his brother James there with a little throw, but he drops it, picks it up and gives it to Sharky again. Photographer in residence up at the top end there. Sharky against McCabe now. McCabe back and cuts it again, but this time he doesn't place it as well. It goes straight to, it's a deep gully or backward point there, whichever one you want to call it. Went on a couple of bounces there and it's fielded, and that's the end of the over, the end of the 21st. It's Tynedale 48 for 5, still needing 180 to win this match. 20 to McCabe and 1 to Stevenson. The men out so far: Tom Cant, Sam Mannion, Jamie Crichton, Dan Parker and Ollie Fletcher. And we've got a change of bowling at this end, with Boyd coming on, I think. Yes, and he's a big fella. He's just putting his marker down in the ground now, and he'll be going round the wicket to the left-handed Stevenson. So we're going to have 1 slip, a gully there, a backward point, and a cover, an extra cover, a mid-off, a mid-on and a mid-wicket, and Bob Rutherford over there in front of the spectators at the far end at fine leg. He's just going a little bit squarer now. Waved round, encouraged by his captain there, Harmison, Ben Harmison. So there we go, he's just moved to the left of those spectators across there on the green and white summer chairs. Here's the next one now, short, and that's angled into Stevenson and hits him just below the left hip. And the ball scuttles off to the offside, and it's picked up by O'Brien there, short in at extra cover, close in at extra cover I should say. Sight screens on the move for the left-handed Stevenson. Boyd again, sets off around the wicket now to Stevenson. Stevenson again, it's angled into him and that just hits just above the flap of the pad there and skips off, and it's Harmison who fields that one at second slip, and there's no run. 48 for 5, 180 to win for Tynedale. There were 12 for 4 at one stage. Stevenson on strike, 1 not out. Boyd again is going to bowl, right arm around the wicket, and he's bowling to Stevenson. Stevenson forward, defensive, and the ball runs off square there and up to backward point, and there's no run. We've got the young lads around here now. One looks like he's been in the wars there with his arm pinned in a sling. And it's going to be Stevenson again with 2 slips now to face up to the next ball. Here it comes now. Short down the leg side, and Stevenson helps that one on its way up to Bob Rutherford there at long leg, and Stevenson gets a single. He goes to 2. The score goes to 49 for 5 Tynedale, 179 to win now. We're in the 22nd over. And again the ball's back with ready for the next ball now, and we've got a fine leg in place, 2 slips, a forward more or less a short cover there as well. I'm just seeing where he is as next ball's in, and it's short, and this one's defended down into the ground, and there's no run. So there's two slips, a backward point, and a short orthodox cover, and a short extra cover. And he must just be 7 or 8 yards from the wicket there. Orthodox covers deep, nearly to the edge of the circle. Well, he is on the edge of the circle there. And now it's McCabe against Boyd again. He's over the wicket this time. McCabe, that struck him on the pad, trying to play away the leg, and it's running up towards the scoreboard at long leg. A leg bye signalled there by the umpire Tomlinson, and that's the end of the over. That's the 50 up for Tynedale, 50 for 5 after 22. 2 for Stevenson, 24 McCabe, a leg bye there at the finish. So 178 now to win for the visitors. 22, this is the 22nd over, is it? This is the 23rd. 23rd over coming up here, and it's going to be McCabe on strike. Yes, he's just made his way. McCabe in the shirt sleeves, and Ewan Stevenson in his shirt, but he's got one of those modern undershirts on just beneath his Tynedale shirt. And we've got a change of bowling at the top end. On comes Rutherford, left arm slow bowler. He'll be coming round the wicket between umpire and stumps to the right-handed McCabe. So there's no slips. We've got 2 extra covers. We've got a backward point and an orthodox point and a deep cover. Loops the first one up, and that's turned square by McCabe, and it's fielded there at mid-wicket, just straight mid-wicket there, and it's picked up and there's no run. So here's Rutherford again now, of 2 or 3 paces, and McCabe goes to heave this one away, and it strikes him just below the waistline there, and there's no run. Harmison just moves his mid-wicket a little straighter there. We've got a deep square leg in as well for the mistimed polar hook, and that one forces a slow one there, looped up, forces McCabe back into his crease, and he just pushes it out along the floor to Harmison there at short extra cover. Rutherford again now, fuller this time, and McCabe's forward defending, smothered that one into the pitch, and the ball runs back up the pitch there for Rutherford to pick up, and there's no run. McCabe against Rutherford again now, loops another one up, and he's forward and driving, but he doesn't time it. And it goes straight back up the pitch along the ground, and Rutherford just picks it up, changing the field, mid-wicket out here, coming across towards us. He's going to go in at a short fine leg for the right-hander, so square legs up as well now. We've still got the deep cover. We've got a mid-off, a mid-on, and one slip in place. We've still got the 2 extra covers, and Harmison's at slip, another loopy one, that's swung away to the leg side in the air for a little bit, but they're going to get one because it wasn't stopped cleanly there, out to our left. And that's the end of the over. 1 run at the end of it there. 51 for 5 Tynedale, 2 to Stevenson, and 21 to McCabe now at the end of the 23rd over. And the 2 batsmen just having a little chat again. I don't know what they're talking about. How cold the beer is in this clubhouse. But Stevenson it is who will take the non-striker's end. McCabe on strike. He's 21 not out. And we're going to have Boyd again, who's going to go in to McCabe this time. This one's defended off the face of the bat, opens it up, and it goes to Harmison there, who's at backward point. So McCabe's got 2 slips, a fine leg. Harmison there at backward point. No deep cover in place this time. We've got a cover on the edge of the 30-yard circle, short extra cover, a mid-off, a mid-on, a mid-wicket. McCabe against Boyd now. And that one's turned to just right of mid-wicket. There's a shot at the stumps, and Stevenson makes it back to the striker's end at the top end there. And that was good running from the Tynedale batsman. The score goes to 52. And it's 176 now for Tynedale to win. 176 with 5 wickets down. Stevenson, the left-hander, on to strike. Boyd about to bowl. Right arm round the wicket to the left-hander. 2 slips. A fine leg, square leg. Point. A mid-off. A mid-on. A cover. As in goes Boyd again now. Bowls. Playing a miss outside the off-stump, that one from Stevenson. Reached a long way forward. Didn't really get very near it. And it goes through to Grant, the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. And here we go again. We'll go to the end of this over, and then we'll have another break here on Spooky Internet Radio on Cricket West Tyne. If you are listening, you can join us again in a few minutes to complete as Boyd bowls again. Another play and a miss outside the off stump, this time from Stevenson. Going forward, well pitched, and he's really angling it into the the left-hander here. The tall Stevenson, beanpole-like figure. Football referee at another time in another place, and doing his exams at the moment. Oh, he's done most of them. I was speaking to his dad before. Here's the next ball now to Stevenson. 2 slips. He's forward defending this time out to backward point, and that's Ben Harmison who fields off the ground there, and there's no run. 53 for 5. Stevenson 2 not out on strike. 22 to McCabe at this end, our end, the non-striker's end. And as I said just a moment ago, we'll go to the end of the over and we'll have a little break. Do come back to us. We'll come back on the air as soon as possible. We're not sticking to, we'll be on every hour, but we're extending the commentary today here at Langwell Crescent. There's Stevenson driving this time. A lovely shot to the left hand of mid-off there. Lovely timed off drive, just off the straight. Low, kept it down. Not a big backswing and not a big follow through neither. Just lovely timing of the ball there from Stevenson. And he goes to 6 and the score goes to 57 for 5. So it's 171 now to win for Tynedale. 171. Stevenson on strike. Boyd's in. Playing a miss outside the off stump again. Through to Grant, the wicketkeeper. There's no run. And that's the end of the over. 57 for 5 Tynedale. Chasing 228 to win. And it's 171 they need now to complete that. And we've got one more over and then we'll have a drinks break. Well, why don't we just hang on till the drinks break. We'll have another over here on Cricket West Tyne. I've just noticed there we're 25th over coming up, so one over and there'll be a drinks break. So it should be a quickish one here because it's Rutherford bowling. He only comes off 2 or 3 paces, and it's going to be Callan McCabe to face up with a slip for company, and the wicketkeeper close up as well. Rutherford left arm round the wicket in towards us, and McCabe's forward there just trying to smother that one, but it just ran off the bat or pad out to point there. So we've got 2 slips, changing the field, backward points in now. We've got a deep cover, or a deep point over there, 2 extra covers. There's a nice shot from McCabe, but it's a good shot for no runs there, just back in his crease and turning it along the ground out to square leg where it's fielded, and there's no run. 4 balls left in the over now. 3rd ball here from Rutherford between umpire and stumps. Down the pitch he goes and drives along the ground up to deep mid off there McCabe, and he doesn't get a run. It's still 57 for 5. Here's Rutherford again now. 4th ball, 25th over. Drive over the head, 4 runs over the head of deep mid off there, and a good shot from McCabe. He's gone to 26. The score goes to 61 for 5 Tynedale. and that takes the score down. Now the winning margin 167. Fifth ball now, there's a straight drive and there's a lovely shot. That's even better, that one, all along the ground for 4. Very straight, just to the offside of the stumps there, and umpire Wilburn seemed to have a little bit more spark in signalling that for up to the scorers to our right. So McCabe's gone to 30 now. 163 to win for Tynedale, 65 for 5. Rutherford, last ball of the over, and that's the way to play it for Callum McCabe. Forward defensive shot, and that's the end of the over. So from here on Cricket West Tyne for now, as the drinks go out, Tynedale needing 228 to win, or 65 for 5 after 25 overs, 30 to McCabe and 6 to Stevenson. The men out are Tom Cant, Sam Mannion, Jamie Crichton, Dan Parker and Ollie Fletcher. The wickets have gone to Collins 2, Harmison 2 and Sharkey 1. So I'll speak to you in about 10 minutes time or so, and we'll be back on the air for extended commentary here just before about 6:45. Is it time now? Yes, 22, 6:45, and we'll be back on the air for extended commentary of this match in Division 1 of the Northumberland and Tyneside Cricket League. And so I'll leave you until for about 10 minutes. Tynedale 65 for 5 in the 20 after 25 overs. Back in a moment.